Hello everyone, Guardian E here with some initial impressions for Myrrh, our very first flying dragon in Fire Emblem Heroes. With the recent prevalence of the powerful Dragon Emblem team, could some of that strength transfer into Flyer teams? How does the introduction of Myrrh change Flyer teams as a whole? To find out, let's take a look at some of her base skill set. Myrrh has the legendary Dragonstone Great Flame, featuring a might of 16, and also grants her an additional 3 attack. If Myrrh's defense is 5 more than her opponent's, the foe can't make a follow-up attack and double her. And further, if the foe is a ranged opponent, the damage calculated will be using the lower of the foe's defense or resistance. We've seen this commonly in a lot of Dragonstones through refinement, and one of the cornerstones as to why Dragon Emblem is so fearsome. The ability to target your enemy's weak defensive stat is not something to be underestimated. Bonfire and Fury are fairly standard but also extremely powerful skills. And lastly, Myrrh is the first character to introduce the long-awaited Hone Dragon skill into Fire Emblem Heroes, which grants dragon allies +6 attack and +6 speed through their next actions at the start of each turn as a combat-activated buff. So at first glance, while Myrrh is likely to be a bulky and powerful unit like her Manakete brethren, Myrrh specifically doesn't really end up rocking the world of Flyers very much. And here's why. Myrrh is currently competing with Spring Princess Camilla, Bewitching Beauty Camilla, Baruka, and Cherche as the most prevalent green Flyers in the game, as well as a few other powerhouses like Minerva and Michalis. These characters already range from being balanced tanks to powerful magic users to physical powerhouses, and Myrrh's skill set or dragon classification doesn't add that much to the mix. Based on the trailer, Myrrh deals a total of 19 bonus damage from Bonfire, which means we can glean that her defense stat is somewhere in the realm of the mid-30s at base, which allows her to play a role similar to Baruka, except a magical variant. You see, Myrrh's unique strength of being a dual-class character is also a weakness. Because Myrrh is a Flyer, she is class-restricted unlike the other Manaketes. She can't use Steady Breath or Wrath, a combination that has made dragons particularly threatening in today's arena. She also obviously can't take advantage of Infantry Pulse, or have Infantry Pulse used on her. She is also weak to Falchions and Naga for what it's worth. And because Myrrh is a dragon, she can't use the ever-popular Gale Force Flyer builds, and doesn't have access to cooldown-reducing slaying weapons. The main advantages Myrrh does have is that, 1, she'll be the first Flyer to deal magical damage that isn't a seasonal unit, and 2, she'll be another candidate aside from Spring Camilla that can safely eradicate Brave Lynn on enemy phase in a Flyer team, if she utilizes the Iote Shield or Distant Defense. Note that while Brave Lynn's Sakei's Blessing prevents distant counter attacks from swords, spears, and axes, it does not prevent distant counter attacks from Dragonstones. So if you opt to run distant counter on your Myrrh, or give her Lightning Breath, she can likely tank and kill Brave Lynn on enemy phase. Further, her legendary weapon, Great Flame, will prevent doubles from Brave Lynn as well, since her defense will most assuredly be above Brave Lynn's by a factor of 5. Now please don't get me wrong, Myrrh will likely be a great unit for Flyer teams, and you should aim for her if you're still lacking in a solid and reliable tanky green. But the introduction of Myrrh has far more interesting applications and implications for dragon teams. Hone Dragons is something that people have been clamoring for since Ninian was first brought into the game with Fortified Dragons. Just being a Flyer alone increases mobility options for dragons with Reposition, but the fact that she's a Flyer also means that she can utilize Guidance to further enhance overall dragon mobility. Myrrh is going to be much more powerful of an asset on a dragon team, and if you run Dragon Emblem, you should seriously consider pulling for her. Please bear in mind that this banner will overlap with the Legendary Hero banner coming up, and potentially any news on the following banner, so unless any of these characters are must-haves for you, I'd suggest waiting to hear what the anniversary will bring. For myself, I'll likely be holding off and saving my orbs until the next summoning event. But how about you? Are you planning on pulling on the banner, and if so, who are you aiming for? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in keeping up to speed with more of my Fire Emblem Heroes content, please consider subscribing to the channel as it truly helps. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and protect those skies.